you find out life's this game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, one half a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us.
Welcome into the Gibson Fantasy Football Podcast.
Woo!
Oh, Rockin' Raiders and the St. Louis Cardinals.
I know the hats are never going to match what the team I'm kind of cheering for. I just love hats from Major League Baseball. Blue Jays are my team, though.
I mean, it's a bit confusing, but we'll accept it because you got the Raiders Cup. No jersey this week, but that's okay.
Yeah, I need to maybe lose some LBs before I can fit into that Derek Carr jersey. So
sounds like you and Leonard Fournette both need to jump on the training camp plan.
Yeah, I could use a little Leonard Fournette training regimen in my life right now and get back on that.
Did you hear about that? Where he came into training camp like 260 and normally plays at like 235?
30 pounds, nothing.
He was down to like 240 the next week. It was like, it's no big deal. It's crazy.
Yeah, athletes, man, they can put it on and take it off just like that. I don't know how healthy it is, but, you know.
He's a big dude too, right? Like you play at that much weight, like 20 or 30 pounds is not as big a deal as if you're like 180 pounds.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, well, we're here jibber jabbing, and let's talk about who the heck we are and what's going on. So it's Josh and A-Aron here from Gibson Fantasy Football. You can find us at GibsonFantasyFootball.com, Gibson_FF on Twitter, and Gibson Fantasy Football, all one word, here on YouTube, over at Instagram, and Podbean and Spotify.
Woo!
So we're back. We've got a fun episode for today. We're going to be sort of repeating a little bit of what the mock draft was all about, but with a different variation and twist today. So we're going to be talking about our favorite draft targets, and we're going to go round by round, but we're actually going to pick twice in each round because we're going to break it down into what would be your favorite person to take in the first 6 picks and then in the last 6 picks of each round. So we've got it set up so that you and I are the 1 and 2 pick in a 6-team draft here. And so we're just going to keep repeating 6 picks at a time. And at the end of it, we'll compare and contrast teams. And we'll take turns going back and forth in case we both end up on the same player. That way I'll choose first, you choose first, and we'll go back and forth there. And then we'll see who has the team they prefer. But we'll be able to take anybody at any position, and it'll just be a matter of who do you think is the best value at that point in the draft. Beautiful. So it'll be 1 quarterback, half PPR, and that'll be the game plan. I'm excited. I'm excited to see. I had sort of pre-prep some ideas, but I've thrown the prep sheet to the wind, and I'm just going to wing it and see who I think's the best value at that moment when I'm on the clock. So.
I'm going to go by your sheet. So I'm going to work just off of your sheet. So we'll see how that plays out.
There you go. So, yeah, training camp's under full swing. We've got, a couple of big news pieces. Chris Carson retired with his neck injury.
That's too bad.
He's, officially done. Got a number of different folks kind of on the pup, healthy, unhealthy. We got a couple of big season enders. So undrafted rookie Justin Ross, wide receiver who the Chiefs signed, already got put on the IR, so he's done for the year. And then John Mechie, who the Texans grabbed, I think it was in the 3rd round. Unfortunately, he's got leukemia, so he'll be out for 2022.
All the best to him.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate, right? A couple of,
All the best to all of them. I mean,
Yeah, all 3, right? Like you feel crappy to see we haven't even hit preseason and people are already done for the year, right? So that's not a good sign there. But outside of those 3, nothing too crazy. Although we did get Mr. Julio Jones found himself a home.
Yes, he did.
the former Super Bowl champion Buccaneers with his plant man himself, Tom Brady. So don't know what your thoughts are on that one, but what do you
I
think?
like it. I like it because I think he's not going to be a guy that you're going to go after in fantasy, but keep an eye on him because there's going to be those few weeks where he's going to go off because that's what he's being brought in to do, right? Like he's not going to be brought in to be the number one wide receiver there. He's been brought in to just help, and that's what he's going to do. So just keep your eye on him though, because he's going to be a sleeper in a few weeks.
Yeah, I think he's particularly valuable in that early season stretch when Chris Godwin's still out. So, I mean, Chris Godwin, they didn't put him on the pup, but that doesn't really seem to mean much because there's a lot of folks like James Robinson and Chris Godwin who don't project to be back for week one, but yet didn't go on the pup. So who knows kind of how that works. But assuming Chris Godwin's going to miss a few weeks, then Julio will be battling with Russell Gage for the second option in that offense, especially with no Gronk. So I know they got Cameron Brate and they brought in the veteran Kyle Rudolph, but it's going to be Evans and then whoever else. So, I mean, Julio could be at least the 2B, if not the 2A with Russell Gage. So, as you said, not somebody you're probably going to have to spend much to grab, probably even go undrafted in most leagues, but could be worth a dart throw early in the season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Nothing else that comes to mind for me. Any news items you've seen that you think's worth bringing up?
Just been hearing some good things about Sky Moore out in Kansas City. Keep seeing some articles about that guy just lighting up the field. So excited to kind of see. Maybe they got something special there. I don't know. Who knows?
It could be, man.
Yeah.
I was actually doing some research, and on PFF, Pro Football Focus, the college grades from last year, like overall for receivers, and Sky Moore was actually number one among all wide receivers in terms of PFF grades. So very talented.
Yep. Keep an eye on him.
All right. Should we get down to business?
Let's do it.
Okay. All right. Here we be with the draft board. So as you can see here, I'm slotted in as the 1, Aaron's the 2. We'll go back and forth on who picks first. And then we've got, 4 computers just to run through the rest of the 6 players after we've picked. And then we'll jump back in again. So it's linear so that it's not going to snake on us. But all right. So I'll start us off. So first 6 players available. Oh, let me take get rid of the banner. 1 sec there. Okay. So first 6 players are Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson. So I am going to go and grab my man. This probably is no surprise to you, but I will take Mr. Christian McCaffrey.
Good pick. Good pick.
Let me start the draft.
Hasn't even started drafting. You already picked Christian McCaffrey.
Nice. There we go. Okay. So you got Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, Cooper Kupp, or Justin Jefferson. Who are you taking?
It was either Christian McCaffrey or Jonathan Taylor, so Jonathan Taylor.
Okay. And then the computer should auto-pick here.
He's taking his time.
Why are they not auto-picking? Try that now. There we go. I had it as no limit so that we didn't have to sort of worry too much about time, but it won't CPU auto pick if there's no limit. So.
Oh, okay. That's good news.
All right. So can I pause the draft? Yeah, there we go. So next up then, the computer went ham from ADP. It took Derrick Henry and it took people outside of ADP. That's not helpful. Okay. Let me see if we can figure that out.
The computer has a mind of its own.
Honestly. I thought it would just go by ADP, but it chose not to go by ADP. No. Forced to pick somehow.
Yes, you are forced to pick somebody.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to see here. All right, so we'll tell you what. Let me end this for a second.
Yeah, they seem to take it either between the 1 and 6 spot and a couple between the 7 and 12 spot. It looks. Did they take 7 and 12?
Yeah, they messed it up on us, man. Let me stop the screen share for 1 second, see if I can fix this in a quick second here. But all right, I tell you what. We won't be able to. We'll not have the visual per se here, but let me just do it this way. All right.
We need to get an IT guy.
Right?
Have an IT guy on the side.
I'm gonna have the same. Okay. All right, so start it, and then what I'll do.
I like the Christian McCaffrey pick though as number 1. Who knows what's going to happen down there in Carolina?
Yeah, I mean it comes with risk. I was talking the other day with someone, and I said, taking Christian McCaffrey 101 is a gut check because it's really about, like, he will finish as the highest scoring fantasy player if he stays healthy. But if he doesn't stay healthy, then Jonathan Taylor's the better pick. And Jonathan Taylor's the safer pick. You can't go wrong with Jonathan Taylor. But you could go wrong with Christian McCaffrey if it doesn't pan out.
Yes.
All right. So tell you what, we'll do it this way. Let's see if we would contrast or share based on kind of what we're picking here. But so you said you would have, or would you have taken CMC instead of JT if I didn't take him?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So we both would have taken CMC as our first. So I'll track it, and then I'll read them out at the end. So yeah, I think that's the right pick. I think you could make a case to go JT for sure. I've seen some people saying, and I think Eckler should be the 101. That's a little wild to me, but whatever you're into. I personally don't think he'll repeat. He had so many rushing touchdowns, but outside of those two. Okay, so we've got those first ones there. So let's go here then. All right. And how do we then? Let's pop that up a bit. We really just need to be able to see. Okay. There we go. So, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, Najee Harris, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, Devontae Adams. Oh no, Justin Jefferson was in the first group. Sorry. Dalvin Cook, Najee Harris, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, Devontae Adams, Travis Kelce. Who's your favorite out of that one?
Oof. It's a toss up between. I like Chase. I like Chase, to be honest.
Okay. You going Jamar Chase?
What are you thinking?
I prefer Justin Jefferson just slightly over Jamar Chase, but I like both a lot. And, Dalvin Cook I like as well. Not as big on Najee, Mixon, Adams. I think Andrews could outscore Kelce this year, so I'm not willing to go that early on tight end.
Right.
So, I mean, maybe Dalvin Cook, but it's probably Jefferson or Chase for me.
All right. Let's go
Yeah,
with Jefferson.
You're going to go Jefferson? We can
Yeah.
go different if you want something different.
No, we'll start off pretty the same because those are the two names I was tossed up in between two.
All right, so we're both going Jefferson, with the second option would have been Chase.
So yeah, a little early for me in tight ends, but maybe that's why I have never had success with tight ends. So
oh, absolutely. Okay. Let's get up to here. All right. So the next six then are going to be Swift, Diggs, Chubb, Lamb, Kamara, and Tyreek Hill.
ooh,
Yeah.
To me, Kamara's crossed out.
Mhm.
I don't know about you. I feel like you're the same.
Yeah, that's too early. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not off my board completely, but that's taken him assuming that there is no suspension, which is very possible. But
Yeah.
I'm not going to pass on other guys like Swift or Diggs or Lamb when he's at the same spot.
Right.
Those are the three that stand out to me.
Yeah. Oof. We took a running back first, so and then we took a wide receiver, right?
Yeah,
Jefferson.
so far. Yeah, we both agreed we would have gone either CMC and then JT, and we said Chase and then Jefferson. So who's your first thought here?
The two guys I would throw in to the hat is Diggs and Chubb. And I know Chubb may sound like a risk. I just maybe with them not having a number one quarterback at the helm the first how many weeks, I don't know what suspension, if there's suspension, but that could be a run heavy team. That's the only reason, but I think I would go with Diggs.
Yeah. No, it's I like Diggs. I like Swift as well. I don't mind CD Lamb, but I think I'd take Diggs over Lamb. Lamb probably has the higher upside if everything goes right, but Diggs is just a smidgen less upside and probably a safer floor.
Yeah.
I like Swift. I don't mind Chubb. I'm a little nervous about what that offense is going to look like. I mean, I'm with you. I think he'll get a ton of carries because they can't throw the ball with him until or if Watson comes. But you do get baked in that if Watson has a smaller suspension, like 4 or 6 games, then you get 10 plus games of Deshaun Watson at quarterback, and Nick Chubb probably cracks the top 12 at that point. So,
right,
if not earlier. But yeah, I would. Sounds like the consensus, if we were going to pick one between us, would be Diggs.
Yeah.
And then after that, it would be either Chubb or Swift.
Yeah, I think that was never a risk. I guess Cleveland right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little dicey to target that team, but you never know. Okay. All right. So first quarterback comes into play here. Should we wait? Where did we get to? Yeah, 18, right? Should we feel so inclined? So we've got Mr. Josh Allen. We got tight end Mark Andrews, Saquon Barkley, Aaron Jones, Deebo Samuel, and Javonte Williams. Some good names here.
Mm-hmm. Pat, obviously, if you are inclined to get a quarterback early, Josh Allen is a solid pick. But I like, I've kind of fallen under your kind of philosophy, try to stay away from the double picks. And so I'm learning. And so that's one thing I've learned. So not Josh Allen, but for me, Mark Andrews is definitely one of them. And man, is anybody just a little bit worried that what's kind of come out of San Fran this kind of week where their chips are all in on Trey Lance, and Jimmy G is obviously going to get moved, hopefully sooner than later, but does that worry you? Like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I'm worried about it. I'm down on Debo a bit. I mean, I'm not completely out on Debo because I mean I think he'll still be super talented, but he's
Yeah.
going to go back to being primarily a wide receiver and have less carries. He had 8 rushing touchdowns last year at the wide receiver position, which is insane.
Wow.
So I think he's going to take a big hit. I think he probably falls outside the top 10. So yeah, I would not draft him at this point. I'm not sure what Lance is going to amount to. I think he'll be hot and cold,
Mm,
but yeah, I don't have a lot of confidence in Debo, especially in the range of these other players we're talking about. So
yeah. I
Mark
think
Andrews would be tempting because that is, locking up a solid tight end feels good and makes the rest of your draft easy.
I know who you're going to go after. Them.
Josh Allen's too early for a
Yeah.
quarterback for me. My man Javonte Williams has the upside, but I might be more inclined to go Aaron Jones.
I knew it. That's your boy, not the
It
guy
is.
in Denver. That's not your boy.
Well,
Your boy's Aaron Jones.
it's tough. It's tough to pass on him, man. Aaron Jones. Like
It's
he finished as the RB12 last year, and he had 4 rushing touchdowns, and that was his career low. And I know AJ Dillon's taken some work, but man, that offense has no one to throw the ball to outside. Who are they throwing? Like Christian Watson, the rookie's already injured. Alan Lazard's been there forever. They got Sammy Watkins they brought in, the other rookie, Romeo Dubs. They got Randall Cobb. They got Murray Rogers, but like Robert Tunyon, the tight end, isn't healthy yet. I just think Aaron Jones is going to catch a ton of passes and be super good.
no, you've sold me on him, and you've even sold me on Mark Andrews as well. But I like the Aaron Jones pick here.
All right, so let's say those are our two. Then we'd either go Aaron Jones or Mark Andrews. But if we had to choose, probably Jones.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, then, as we shift the board. Those folks. All right, the aforementioned, slightly overweight still, Leonard Fournette. Excuse me.
Oh, bless you.
Other Green Bay, thank you. The other Green Bay, or the A.J. Brown, the recently traded Eagle, who was once a Titan. Mike Evans, the clear-cut wide receiver 1 for the Bucks. Kyle Pitts, young and emerging tight end. Ezekiel Elliott. Wait, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and see. How did we get? Oh yeah, Fournette. Yeah, to 30, right? And Patrick Mahomes. There we go. It's like that's got to be 6. So who intrigues you at this spot?
Well, I've always had my boy Patty Mahomes. He's been my quarterback in the keepers league that we have, so I do like him. But I mean, I think thinking of the strategies that you're kind of going after, I think you can still get a pretty decent quarterback the next 2 rounds. So this, if you are in like a 6-team league, then definitely, I think take the quarterback later, right? So for me, it would have to be between, and I've had Evans on my team and I've had Zeke on my team. I'd have to say it's between Evans and Brown.
Yeah.
For me.
I would not take Mahomes. I don't actually think I would take him as the second quarterback off the board even.
No.
I think he's going to be good again this year, but he also has a lot of question marks as to who he's going to throw the ball to outside of Travis Kelce.
Sky Moore.
So, yeah, I mean, Sky Moore is certainly in the hunt along with Juju and MVS and Mecole Hardman. But, wouldn't take Mahomes, wouldn't take Pitts. Probably wouldn't take Zeke this early, although, he's got the opportunity, but I'm a little nervous. A.J. Brown with the moving teams. takes a bit of a hit because Jalen Hurts doesn't pass the ball as well as Ryan Tannehill did. So I think, yeah, I'm going to think Leonard Fournette and Mike Evans. I mean, I'm probably going with one of the two Bucks here.
Oh wow. See, I think you're gonna be pretty surprised with Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown connection.
I like him for fantasy even more so than real life, but yeah, it's possible that he sustains, but AJ Brown also has a lot more target competition because Dallas Goedert's there and Devonta Smith's there. Where in Tennessee there was almost nobody.
That's true.
But I mean, I think he'll still be good. I just don't like. I couldn't pass Mike Evans for AJ Brown. I would take Mike Evans at the same time.
Yeah, so I guess Evans is kind of the common name.
All right, who would be your second after Evans then?
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown. All right. And I would take our boy Lenny.
Big boy.
Cap. Let's see here. Who's the next crew? That'll work. We can see the top of his name. All right. Wide receiver Keenan Allen. Running back James Conner. Running back Cam Akers. Running back David Montgomery. There's a lot of running backs in this range. Wide receiver T. Higgins or quarterback Justin Herbert.
Who's good names here.
Yeah.
I like the running backs here.
Yes, I would agree with you on that part. I'm not inclined to go with either Herbert or Keenan Allen. T. Higgins is good, but the running backs are better in my opinion.
It's to me, it's either James Conner or Cam Akers. Cam Akers or James Conner for me.
Yeah, I think Conner would be the pick here for me.
Mm-hmm.
I really like him. I know he had a ton of rushing touchdowns last year, like 15 touchdowns. So that probably drops a bit, but I still think he'll be super good. And I still think he can easily hit 10 touchdowns. And it's going to be a good offense. And they're going to throw the ball a lot. And, initially we're going to be dealing with no DeAndre Hopkins there. So I'm intrigued by that. And I'm intrigued because they got rid of Chase Edmonds and they've got kind of a throw together cast of Eno Benjamin, Darrell Williams that they brought in, and rookie Keontae Ingram. So I'm very into James Conner. And then, I don't mind Akers, but I would probably take Conner over him.
Yeah. I'd go with Conner.
So Conner would be the consensus. Who would be the number 2 then?
For me, Akers.
Yeah, I don't mind that as 33rd. So you're talking 24th. So you're almost the end of the third round. It's not bad. There's not really anyone else. I mean, you could maybe sell me on T. Higgins, but I think I'm with you. It's probably Akers.
Yeah, Chicago's never done well for me. Like when I've had players in Chicago, I don't know.
I know Montgomery, like you want to take him, but you're just like, oh, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can get there. All right, we've got 6 of our 10 players picked so far, so we got 4 to go. Rookie running back Breece Hall, Mr. George Kittle at tight end, Antonio Gibson at running back, Deontay Johnson at wide receiver, Travis Etienne coming back from injury last year to take on the lead role, running back, and Darren Waller. So we got 2 tight ends in this group. If we had, we can pretend we don't have the roster we have and say, regardless of whether you would take Andrews or not, would you take a tight end here, right? But what are your thoughts of these 6 here, this 6-pack?
Good bunch, eh? Like I've heard good things about Antonio Gibson coming out of Washington. Some articles I've read about him doing really well, so I like him. But I would go with a tight end in this one, and of course I got to go with my boy Darren Waller. I mean, come on, he's the Raider. Gotta go with
Fair.
them. There they are.
It's tough, eh? I'm I don't mind because you're getting Waller here. I mean, we're talking 42nd, so that's about the middle of the third round or fourth round. So that's pretty good value to get a tight end that
Mm-hmm.
it's probably going to be a top five, get a lot of volume. If he gets some touchdowns, could have a big year. So I don't mind that. Um, yeah, I'm a little down on Kittle, although this is pretty good value. I'm a little nervous about the Trey Lance situation, as we talked about. Gibson, I'm nervous about the competition with J.D. McKissick and Brian Robinson and just having to deal with a little bit less volume and relying on touchdowns. Deontay Johnson, I like, but I'm a little nervous there with the Steelers quarterback. I don't mind Etienne, and I don't mind Brees Hall, actually. Brees Hall would be an interesting one to grab as a rookie running back here. It's a bit early, but yeah, I probably am with you here. I think let's choose Waller as our go-to option, and then second, I would nominate probably Brees Hall or Travis Etienne.
Okay.
Who are you thinking?
I'm still a firm believer in Gibson, maybe because it's the last name. Gotta love the same last name, so.
Okay, so I'll narrow mine down to I'll say Brees Hall. So we would go either Hall or Gibson as our second option. All right, 3 to go. Here we go. So, yeah. All right, that'll work. All right, Terry McLaurin, wide receiver there. Michael Pittman, DK Metcalf. So we got 3 wide receivers. And we got 2 running backs, Josh Jacobs and the currently injured J.K. Dobbins. We're not sure if he's going to be ready week 1, but if we knew he was, he would not be available this late. So that's kind of what people are baking in. And then rookie from last year, Jalen Waddle. There's some intriguing names in this group. This is a fun group.
Yeah, I love Jalen Waddle, but I think like we've talked about a few times before, Hill's going to pick up some of that slack there, so could see less volume going towards Waddle this year. So not a guy that I wouldn't, if it came down to it, I'm going to take him. I mean, if I was selecting 6 here and all those other guys went ahead, I'd take him for sure. But I almost want to take a risk and say that Seattle is going to somehow get what's his name from San Fran, Jimmy G, and DK Metcalf is going to go off.
If DK or if Jimmy G signed with Seattle because they either traded him or he got cut and signed there, DK Metcalf would not be available at this point. So, I mean, the 2 players that are intriguing here because their value could skyrocket in the next few weeks is DK Metcalf and J.K. Dobbins. So if we found out J.K. Dobbins is healthy and he's going to play week 1, he'd be, probably another 10 or 15 picks up.
Right.
And if DK Metcalf gets Jimmy G, he's probably also like another 10 picks up. So, yeah, those are 2 names that you could take if you believe that, a month from now, the value is way higher or the pick is way higher and you're going to get good value.
Mm-hmm.
If you were a little more risk averse there, then I like Michael Pittman to have a big year. I think is the one with Carson Wentz there in that offense. I think he could do really well. I always like Terry McLaurin, but I just worry with Carson Wentz that it's not going to be a whole lot better.
Yeah.
So, all right, if push came to shove, you're on the clock. Who would you be taking here?
Oof. I think I risk it and go with J.K. Dobbins.
I'm leaning that way too.
I'm
like, he's probably going to be there for week 1.
Because
it may not be at 100%, but even if, at this point in the draft, I mean, you're talking 47th. So that's basically the end of the 4th round. So you've already taken 3 players. You could grab some other players. I mean, he doesn't hurt your team too much if he starts slow the first couple weeks and then is a top 12, top 15 back the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Nobody else that you're going to get in this range is going to be able to do that. I mean, there are really good wide receivers, though, which is why, it's tough to take him here, but I think I would probably take the shot too, especially if I had in the first 3 rounds grabbed at least 1, but for sure 2 running backs, then I'd be even more inclined to take that risk.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, there's I find too, like, you can poop the bed the first few weeks in fantasy and still have a great season for the rest of the year. So a guy like Dobbins, if he's able, if he does miss a few games, maybe it's not too many, and you'll be sitting pretty.
Yeah, and I mean, you start week 1, and generally, if you draft relatively close to the start of the season, all your players are healthy. So it's not that hard to fill a lineup in week 1 or even week 2 or 3. It's week 7 or 8 or 10 when you're like scrambling because there's bye weeks and half your team's been injured.
Yeah.
So as long as Dobbins is at full health at that point, then that's really what you're looking for.
Yeah.
All right, who would be your 2? Let's pick one of the receivers here between DK, Pittman, Waddle, or McCoy.
Oh, well, as soon as you said Waddle, I said it again. Toby barks, so I'm going to go with Waddle.
He's a fan. I'd probably go Pittman, but I don't mind Waddle either. So all right, we'll Waddle and Pittman is the B team. All right, 2 to go here. So we got Waddle. All right, wide receiver DJ Moore, quarterback Lamar Jackson, which is just about as late as I've ever seen him go. Wide receiver Mike Williams, my man Jerry Jeudy, Amari Cooper, and my other man Cortland Sutton. So you got 2 Broncos wide receivers, Amari Cooper and Mike Williams, and then you got Lamar and another wide. So 5 wide receivers and a quarterback. That's a interesting range.
And this is how many picks do we got left?
2. So I mean, we're not so much about we're putting a team together at this point, but
just who you're going to take. Okay.
Saying like, who would we take in this range, right?
Oof. I mean, if Lamar Jackson did float down this low, and you needed a quarterback, not a bad pick here.
Yeah, he's talking top of the 5th round, right? So that's pretty good. I mean, after him, Burrow we can already see is coming. Kyler Murray's coming. I guess it depends what you believe about some of the guys coming up. If you're more of a fan of Burrow or Kyler Murray, or if you're wanting to wait and get somebody like Jalen Hurts, then you could still wait it out. But I think that's pretty good value for Lamar here. You could get, certainly a top 5, and I still think he could get into even the top 3 with that rushing ability.
Yeah, I'm not like I like some of the wide receiver names, and they're not, but I don't know. I like Lamar Jackson, and if I had to pick a wide receiver out of that core, DJ Moore.
Yeah, I would take Lamar, and then I think I like my boy Jerry Jeudy a lot, but DJ Moore is a safer pick for sure. And I think he could finally get some more touchdowns this year with Baker there, and so this could be his big year that we've all kind of been waiting for, because he just consistently finishes with like 4 touchdowns every year. All right. Last go at her here. Wrapping up the 5th round. So we've got, as we mentioned, quarterback Joe Burrow and quarterback Kyler Murray. We got running back Elijah Mitchell. And then we got 3-pack wide receivers, Allen Robinson, the currently injured Chris Godwin, and Marquise Hollywood Brown.
Yeah. Some good names here too.
Yeah. I think I would probably stay away from those quarterbacks. Murray, he's intriguing, but I just worry with Hopkins out the first 6 weeks. But then, like we just talked about, if he's a little slower, but he's your only quarterback. It's not like a running back you can play multiple of. So I wouldn't be taking Burrow. I probably wouldn't take Murray.
You like Marquise Brown? I don't mind Brown.
Yeah, Brown's pretty good. Elijah Mitchell would be steady. Robinson, I don't want to take on the Godwin injury at this point. There's still some pretty good players. Yeah, I think I probably would go with Marquise Brown.
Yeah, same.
Okay. Hollywood. And then as our number 2, if we had to pick a backup to him.
I'd go with Elijah Mitchell, San Fran.
Yeah, me too. Okay. All right, let me stop this then. And let me pull up the banner here so I can write out sort of our A team and our B team. We can show it off. So we went first. We grabbed Whistle on CMC, and then Jefferson, Andrews, Aaron Jones, Evan, Connor. So that's our first 5 that we ended up selecting. All right, so our favorite targets for the first, well, would that be the first half? So 5 is 60. So over the first 30 picks, our favorite targets were CMC, Jefferson, Andrews, Aaron Jones, and Mike Evans. And then over the next 30 picks, to wrap up round 3 and get into round 4 and 5, we chose Connor, Waller, Dobbins, Lamar, and Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Heavy on the Ravens there at the end, man.
Yeah, just a little.
God forbid Rashad Bateman wound up on our team lane. But yeah, I mean, anything that stands out about either this 5-pack or this first 5-pack here? I mean, we wouldn't necessarily be building a team. It's just to get an idea of who to target in those ranges, right?
No, I think they're pretty solid picks. All of them. I mean,
I think what it tells me is like, yeah, I like that I could either grab Mark Andrews in round 2 and lock that down, or I could wait till, it was almost round 4, I think. It was ready to, it was the beginning of round 4, and grab Darren Waller. So, you kind of decide there when you're in the draft based on what your first pick is and who else you see on the board. Do you want to grow, Andrews with your second round pick there and grab him, or do you want to grab somebody else and try to grab Waller in the 4th? Because I think after that, you're probably just punting the position until the later rounds, because I don't really like a lot of those middle guys like TJ Hawkinson and Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, for me, I tried to push it a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So those are our targets. I'll throw out, I don't have it written out, but I'll read out our B team as well. So the secondary folks that we would have taken, so instead of after CMC, it would have been Jonathan Taylor. After Jefferson, it would have been Jamar Chase. After Andrews, it would have been Diggs. After Aaron Jones, would have been Chubb or Swift. After Evans, it would have been A.J. Brown or Lenny. After Connor, it would have been Akers. After Waller, it would have been Breece Hall or Antonio Gibson. After Dobbins, it would have been Waddle or Pittman. And after Lamar, DJ Moore. And then after Hollywood, Elijah Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the folks we like in those different ranges. So keep an eye out for them when you're doing your drafts. Those are some of the best options to target. And I would encourage folks to do this as an exercise because it does give you a lot of insight as to who might you like to target. And if you write this down, you don't have to agree with all the bars, but go through and pick, two of your own that you would like. And then you'll know when you're in a draft kind of who your two favorite players are in that range. And it takes some of the pressure of having to make a decision when you're on the clock away.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think this is going to help me a lot, and also help me steal players that you're looking at. So I know it.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, as always, find us over at the website, GibsonFantasyFootball.com, Gibson_FF on Twitter, and Gibson Fantasy Football, all one word, on Instagram, YouTube, Podbean, and Spotify. We'll keep doing some fun stuff with draft season approaching here. We've got our own keepers selected for our home league that we'll talk a bit about next week, and then maybe talk about some of the best players that you could be keeping this year. And then we've got some Super Bowl episode coming up after that in 2 weeks. So
yeah,
lots of fun stuff on the horizon. Anything else you want to throw out there before we call it a day?
I'm always down to join any fantasy leagues out there. So if you're willing to have me, all the better.
Okay. Well, please feel free to comment, like, subscribe here, or interact with us on the website, Twitter, anywhere else. And until next time, clear eyes, full heart, can't lose.